because I think middle class has already felt what the benefits in a fair society are bringing to them. They get their children a proper education. It doesn't matter whether you are rich or poor, your children can get to the same schools and get a decent education and chance in life. And also that you get employment. You recognize that in order for you to succeed in a society, you have to be ready to train yourself and educate yourself throughout your lifetime. I find it that I have to do that, because otherwise I could not do what I'm still doing at this age. So you have to follow the developments very closely. You have to read a lot. You have to meet people from whom you can learn things that are important in your work. And that's a major challenge in our society, because the education you have received as a young person may not be enough for you to survive when economy is transformed and the tasks that are produced in developing countries are demanding much more advanced training and education. And that's a real challenge for us. But important thing is that the role of a state is to give you a chance, and you have to do your utmost to utilize that opportunity. You can't simply expect that the state takes care of everything in your life. I must say that when I have been dealing all my life with after I got a chance to work on Namibian issue and then other things came on my way, I realized that what the main reasons for conflicts in the world were, and if I looked at the Arab Spring countries in North Africa, for instance, of course it didn't start the whole Arab Spring in North Africa. It started in the suburbs of Paris, because these were people who had come from the same countries, and they felt that they didn't have a chance in a country where they had moved. And then it spread to their home territory. But it has taught me that if we don't have egalitarian policies, give good education, give good health care, and for boys and girls, it has to be for both of them, and then work opportunities for them. And also create possibilities for entrepreneurs to start new enterprises, because that's where the funding comes from. So you have to realize that egalitarian society is good whether you come from poor or rich family, because it prevents the conflicts emerging in a society, and it gives a chance for better life. And people start trusting also the institutions. What all these studies that I spoke about show, and not only those that I have produced with the help of Nordic scholars, but there have been plenty of those studies. They show that in our societies, in the Nordic countries, people trust the institutions. And that, to me, is extremely important, because then we can live in peace in a society, and people feel that they can advance, and that their children also have a chance in life. They move from one social class to another. First of all, I was very much thinking when I followed the beginning of problems in Thailand, because I was invited by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission there before they ended their work to come and talk to them with Kofi Annan. We both went. And when I then saw that the opposition party was trying to overthrow, through rebellious activities, a lady prime minister who had been elected in proper elections, it was monitored by international community. I think what I was hoping that democratic societies in the world and major democratic Western governments would have sent a clear message to this opposition party leadership, that if you think that you can overthrow a properly elected government like you are trying to do now, don't expect that we will recognize you if you come to power this way. This is not how democracy works. If you are not happy with the policies of the government, ask for early elections and we support you in that. But you have to use the democratic means. It starts from rule of law, human rights, and freedom of speech. You have to be able to have these. If we can still add the fairness in a society. I like actually the fair society concept much more than welfare state, because welfare state gives some people an idea that everything is given to you. And that's not what the fair society means. It gives you an opportunity to develop your skills, whatever your background is, if your family is poor or rich, but particularly for poor families. So I think these are all values that we have to defend. And this sort of messages we should have said immediately when these problems started in Thailand. I was very disappointed that no one actually sent this message to them. So we lost the opportunity to tell the opposition party that, look, this is totally unacceptable behavior in a democratic society. I think I'm a born optimist. I'm a Karelian. First of all, I'm eternally displaced person, as I said in my Nobel speech. I come from Karelia, which we lost to Soviet Union when they attacked my country. And 400,000 of us had to resettle, but luckily in the same country, but elsewhere. And that experience, I think, taught me a lot. I realized it much later in my life, that I wanted to help that people who have gone through similar experiences, and particularly when they had to then leave, why I felt sympathy for those who couldn't resettle in their own country but had to leave and try to find a decent living somewhere else in the world. That how we have a responsibility and to help those people to resettle and start, actually treat them like we learn to treat each other in our society. In my country, when our independence started, we fought against each other shortly, but we had internal fighting, the whites and the reds. It didn't, thank God, last long, but it took a time before we found our common values and give a chance for everyone to participate in the political life. So wherever you came from when you accepted the democratic ground rules, you had a chance to fair fight in political terms. And those who perhaps lost, they were all of a sudden in the government. And from there, even if it was, one could say, the leftist-oriented parties that argued for fair society and welfare society, the best what we achieved in our society was that all political parties now accept this. So this is not anymore an argument. We may discuss now how we can best do this and how we can create so much wealth in the society that we can afford to do all the things that need to be done in order to have a free and fair society and opportunity for everybody.